Hello, ladies and gentlemen. We have made it to the live stream. I say we've made it to the live stream. Let me grab my mouse, being unprepared as usual. I say we've made it to the live stream. One of those weird ones where I don't know if we've made it to the live stream because I'm not watching. So I say that, I can see the chat. I can see Jeff Winder in the chat said, hello, Jeff. How's it going, buddy? Thank you so much for tuning in. If you are currently watching, well, that's very much appreciated. Thank you for coming. We've got a lot of stuff to talk about today. I'm going to be here for probably about 2 hours. I have a lot of stuff to talk about regarding practice. Lots of stuff regarding practice. And of course, happy to take your questions. So please feel free to get involved in that comment section. And some of you may notice I've tried to level up the stream quality today. I've got in-ears in rather than using headphones, which I think looks better. But then that means I've got a cable running down the back of me that keeps getting caught on my chair. Because, you know, height of professionalism. But I hope everybody is well. Live for English says, will your new curriculum and courses eventually have style studies? Absolutely. Yeah. I put a little bit of music in the intro there, and that's one of Melissa Kelly's songs, Redefined, that I play guitar on. That's I'm making music with Melissa nowadays, doing the kind of neo-soul funky things. We've taken the vocals off for that. You know, normally there's singing over all of that. I'm going to be writing a lot of stylistic things, blues, soul, country, of course, jazz. I've been dipping my toe back into the rock stuff, which is actually why the Sur is up here, because I've been playing a little bit of rock, filming some Greg Howe style arpeggio workouts. I've been filming some bending, like rock bending workouts. So yeah, style studies are definitely coming. George says that I am live and streaming. Hooray! Rasta Ben 95 says, interested to see the new website. You could be a bit louder though. How do people feel about my volume? Let's have a look. See if I can make any changes to that. If this crashes the stream, I'll kill myself. Okay, I've boosted myself by a decibel. Maybe go a little bit more than that. It's always very difficult on a stream like this because I hear myself. Okay, everybody's saying the volume is low. Okay, I'm boosting I've boosted the volume 3 decibels. Do I sound louder? Everybody's saying that I'm very quiet. So this is the frustration of a live stream, right? I can see my levels. In my computer, and the levels are good. If I shout, it's pushing just about to the clipping stage. But okay, guys. All right, I'm boosting levels. Now, unfortunately, okay, volume's better now. All right, cool. Unfortunately, that's going to be quite chaotic for the rest of the stream because what I've done there is I've boosted the sound of my microphone, I've boosted the sound of my guitar, but there's a few other sources of audio in this stream that won't actually be coming from that. I have backing tracks prepared and the like, and when I play those now, I suspect they're probably going to be quieter than the guitar, but we'll make do. Okay, comments are coming in thick and fast. Higher volume, okay. Don't kill yourself, I'm being selfish, but that doesn't work for me right now. I need to learn some new stuff. Okay, good. People are saying volume is better. Okay, awesome. Fantastic. Anyway, so we're here to talk about the secrets of meaningful guitar practice. I've got a website to tell you about, of course. But we're here to talk about the secrets of meaningful guitar practice. And I want you to get your questions prepared. You don't necessarily need to throw them into the chat right now. I don't want them to get lost in the shuffle, if that makes sense. But if you have any kind of pertinent practice questions, put them aside and make sure that you're prepared when I'm asking for questions, because it's all very much appreciated. Interaction is the best part about a live stream, right? I could do a stream like this. Well, let's try that again. I could do a video that isn't live, and then I don't get the interaction, and it's not quite as fun. I like to be able to adjust based on your needs. Anyway, secrets of meaningful guitar practice. So I had a little bit of pushback when I called this thing secrets of meaningful guitar practice. People saying, secrets? That feels a bit hyperbolic to be marketing something like this as secrets. This is all stuff that people know. And the problem with an argument like that is the thing about a secret is it's not a secret if you know it, sure. But there are so many things in life, like, for example, I don't know, the Colonel's 13 herbs, secret herbs and spices, or the recipe for Coca-Cola. Why do I always talk about food? It's not just because I'm a fat person. All of these things are sort of secrets, but people do know them. A secret doesn't necessarily have to be a thing that nobody knows. Some people may know it. The important thing, for me at least, when you're talking about secrets, is you're talking about things that other people don't tell you. And that might be because they're choosing to hide that information from you, or, more likely, it might be that this is information that they're completely unaware of. So that's what I think of when I think of the word secret. Also, to be honest, I'm changing up the way that I'm marketing my teaching and my business and what it is that I do. I have finally accepted the fact that there are lesser musicians, lesser teachers, people that don't care about the craft as much as I care about the craft, making shitty products, who are happy to use all of the modern marketing tricks in order to be successful. And I figure that using terms like this that I feel I can deliver on, while hyperbolic, actually forces people like that to be better. So that's why I've gone with secrets. But I really do believe that the use of the word secrets here is relevant. And the reason it's relevant is because if you had a guitar lesson with 100 different guitar teachers, I think that a lot of the stuff that we're going to talk about today wouldn't be covered by them. But we will get into that in a second. So let me check the comments. Thomas Martinez has super chatted, but with no message, which is a shame. I would have appreciated some sort of message that I could have read it out. Read it? Don't. It's been a long day. I was going to say it's been a long week. It's been a long month. It's been a long year. Thank you very much for that, Thomas. I really do appreciate it. Okay, so why don't I do a little bit of warming up? Well, actually, I'll tell you. So I'll give you a rundown of the things that we're looking at today. So I've prepared some technique work on some Paganini, starting out nice and easy. I've prepared some theory work for us, looking at the circle of fifths, application of triads on the instrument, and some interesting ideas around voice leading melodies. And then I've prepared some playing over changes stuff where we're going to be looking at Amazing Grace, just a simple 1-4-5 type chord progression where we'll focus on really outlining the chord changes, because I think that's a really big and important part of what it means to develop in practice. You should be pushing all aspects of your playing, well, as we're going to talk about. But for me, my ear training and my ability to hear melodies over chord progressions, my ability to anticipate chords, as in hear a chord before it happens and focus on my playing and make sure that my playing works towards landing with that chord change. That's a big part of who I am as a player, and therefore it has to be a big part of who I am as a practicer. So we've got that to look at. We've got scrolling tabs. We have animated scrolling tabs, backing tracks. For all of these things, we've got diagrams to look at. So really do have a lot of stuff to cover. But I'm kind of excited by that. So Richard says that my books are first class. Good evening, Richard. Hello, my friend. Long time no speak. I see Jason's online, and Thomas, you I see the stream now lists you as our #1 supporter, the top fan, just for that super chat. So apparently that's all you need to do. $3. Well, I guess if you super chat $4, YouTube will then say you're a bigger fan than Thomas. Apparently that's a measure. I see Jam Jar, Lurker and Son, and I see that profile picture, and I know exactly who that is. Of course, I won't say your name. So, let me, I'll switch camera. Go over to my guitar. And I'm set up with, well, I've prepared some tricks in this stream, actually. I have my rack. I have a rack of guitars available here. And anytime I put some visual aids on the screen, I'm actually able to grab a different guitar, switch to something new, so we can mix the way things look, mix up the way things look. So yeah, today, I can't see. So if I just give you a basic, all we'll be playing with today is a nice, strong, punchy, clean tone. Yeah, so something like that. Nice fat clean tone. Oh, I'm seeing comments coming in. Alexander says volume is too low. Lots of people arguing over volume. Alexander, turn up the volume your end, mate. George says, in appreciation of all you've learned from me since coming across your channel. Thank you. Very welcome. Fred Anderson, Amazing Grace is excellent chord progression because if you play this 10 times in the next year, you'll be asked to play it in 6 different keys. That's actually a really good point. So I'm just jamming on it in C there. But of course, I shouldn't have to stress. If somebody said, could we do Amazing Grace in the key of A, I should be able to play... Yeah, you should be able to play something like that in any key. Class is about to start, David. Class is about to start. Just giving guys a chance to show up. Okay, how are we looking? Shall we start talking about things? As David has pushed us towards it, why don't we do it? All right, I'll bring my face back up. Let's talk. So what does meaningful mean? Because, of course, the title of the stream is Secrets of Meaningful Guitar Practice. The problem with anything like this, the problem with any sort of education, is people are going to have different ideas of end goal, if you like. I think the same thing would be true of any art form or any skill in general. I think if if you were taking driving lessons and your driving instructor only spent time working on how to corner effectively, how to hit the apex of a corner when going around it. It is a skill, absolutely, but it might not necessarily be as meaningful to you as other skills that are required in order to get good at your craft. So meaningful is going to mean different things to different people. But if I level the playing field, when I talk about meaningful, I'm really talking about progress in my playing. I'm talking about we have a limited period of time that we're able to practice. You might have 10 minutes a day, half an hour a day, whatever it is, maybe just an hour a week. But whatever it is, you're looking for maximum results from the time that you put in. And that's, for me, what it's all about. Like, being meaningful in my practice is making sure that I'm getting some sort of result from my practice. And of course, I like to think that everybody has that, whether they realise it or not at the core, they're trying to get the most out of their practice time. Some people might disagree with that, and then I would argue what you're actually looking to do when you pick up your guitar is not necessarily practice, you're looking to play. So for you, meaningful practice might be having as much fun as possible. So you might play over a lot of backing tracks, etc. But to me, that's not necessarily practice. Like I say, that's playing. Nothing wrong with that. Big believer in playing. You know, it's kind of me practicing there, but I'm playing when I did that little Amazing Grace solo type thing there. So yeah, getting results is the important thing. Now, if you just want to play, that's absolutely great. But I'm all about practice. I live for practice. And it's, of course, very important to know that practice is different from learning. Just think about that. Practice is different from learning. You learn a thing, and then you practice the thing. So a practice session shouldn't always, in fact, a practice session should rarely be you sitting down to learn a thing. You sit down and you learn a thing, and then once that task has been done of learning the thing, you then have to practice the thing. And I feel that this is an area of study that is often neglected by teachers, and it's done for a good reason. Not a noble reason, but a good reason. The reason would be a learner, a student, feels that they get more out of the money that they spend on lessons when they're constantly receiving new information. Makes sense. Because you're kind of you're taking more from the teacher. It's not the same as actually bringing up your skill level. So you can learn a bunch of things, but unless you practice those things, unless they become automatic in your playing, then the learning actually just kind of disappears. And I think we all fit in this category. There will be a lot of things that you used to be able to play that you can't play anymore. There will be lots of things that you've learned about, things that you maybe know, but you've forgotten because you didn't practice those things, and so they didn't transition into your long-term memory, understandably, and so the struggle has happened. So for me, meaningful practice is about taking the things that I've recently worked on and moving them from my short-term memory into my long-term memory, moving them into that place where I'm able to improvise with them, moving them into that place where I'm able to bring those things out in my regular kind of day-to-day playing. Whether I'm playing, in a trio setting, or whether I'm playing in a full 9-piece soul band, whatever setting I'm in, I want those things that I've been working on to come out in my playing. And that doesn't always mean that they're hard things. Sometimes it's simple things. Sometimes it's having, I spend a lot of time working on my swing feel because that feels important to me. Dynamics are something that I work on, and then I feel they don't come out in my playing as much as I'd maybe like them to. I feel that I pick too hard all the time. So these are things that we can work on. So meaningful practice isn't always sexy, but it is valuable because it's the thing that helps you to get the actual juice out of your playing. So obviously this is always a tricky concept when I'm doing a live stream like this, or any of my guided practice routines. And the reason for that is a lot of the time when people they buy my guided practice routines books or whatever, and they go, okay, this is a week-long practice routine, I should do this every day for a week. We're not taking into account the fact that they need to learn the thing. So for me, one of my practice routines, I already know all of the material in it. And we're going to see that with the stuff that we look at today. I already know all of this stuff, therefore practicing it is an easy thing to do. If you're following along with this and you're actually having to learn the things first, then you haven't got to that stage where you can practice it yet. So making sure that you're learning, then practicing the thing. And for every 1 hour that it takes for you to learn a thing, 10 hours should go into practicing that thing. Now, it's a kind of 1 to 10 ratio, but a thing doesn't take you an hour to learn. So a concept might take you 20 minutes to learn, but for every 1 minute it takes you to learn, put 10 minutes into the practice. Or at least that's the way I like to think of these things. And actually, players have different goals as well, and that's the other thing that makes it very difficult to work out what your goals in your practice routine need to be. Because if I were to introduce you to a person, if I introduce you to 16-year-old Levi, I'm 36, 37 now, 37 in a couple of months. 16-year-old Levi, almost, yeah, sorry, actually 20 years ago, Levi, is a different human being to the human being that's sat in front of you now. You know, when you watched me play Amazing Grace there, or just jam on Amazing Grace, 16-year-old Levi would have gone to sleep when he heard that. Because 16-year-old Levi was really into Paul Gilbert and Zach Wilde and Jason Becker, and I still love and have a passion for all of those things. But who I wanted to be as a player was very different to who I want to be as a player now. So the person I wanted to be as a guitar player when I was 16 would probably struggle to make a living playing music, because being a shredder is really great for playing in shred bands. But it doesn't get you hired for a whole lot of gigs, because in pursuing my technique, I was neglecting a lot of skills that are more valuable to me. Like, you know, it took me a long time to nail my intonation with my bending. It took me a long time to have really good rhythm skills. It took me a long time to have really good ears. It took me a long time to be able to listen to songs and just immediately go, oh, cool, okay, I hear it, let me play it. But that doesn't mean that 16-year-old Levi was an idiot. It just means that 16-year-old Levi had different goals. And 16-year-old Levi had different goals because the things that, sorry, let me rephrase that. 6-year-old Levi needed to work on different things because 16-year-old Levi had different goals. So it's very important to kind of establish who you are as a player and what your actual goals are. I think that a lot of the work that I do with students, I come at it from the perspective of a working professional musician. Like, I am a professional guitar player and guitar teacher. That's what I do day in, day out. I don't have a day job. This is my job. It's been my job for the best part of 20 years now. So the skills that I need to be that, professional working guitar player are different from maybe the skills that a guy in his 50s who, has a full-time job, has maybe a couple of kids and a wife. His goals are different to my goals. To him, he doesn't need to learn to read music. It's not useful to him. I could argue that to me, I don't need to learn to read music. But because I am a fluent reader, I've been able to kind of explore aspects of my career where the reading side of things would be useful. But it doesn't mean that reading is important for everyone. The same applies to technique, okay? So 16-year-old Levi or 20-year-old, early 20s Levi, if you go back and listen to the Out of the Ashes album that I put out 10 or so years ago, when I listen to that now, it's like a heavy metal shred album, and I hear the guitar solos on that, and I'm like, who was this guy? Who played this? I don't know how to play that. I mean, I conceptually understand it. I know what I did, but then I put my hands on the instrument, and I'm like, I know what to do, but my hands can't do it. Because those skills that you have to practice in order to maintain your skills, I haven't been able to devote that time to those skills because I've had all of these other things that are much more important to my actual end goals as a guitar player. So yeah, modern Levi, very, very, very different player. Modern Levi is, I'm an improviser. I am somebody who I play in a trio type setting. Well, 4-piece, but instrumentally trio. Guitar, bass, and drums. So I have to have a deep understanding of the harmony of everything that I'm playing over, because when I'm playing with a bass player and a drummer, I don't have a keyboard player there or a rhythm guitar player. I need to be able to play my melodies, play the song, and you need to be able to hear the chords while I'm doing that. So everything that I do needs to be harmonically strong in a way that it didn't need to be when I was in a heavy metal band with a rhythm guitar player. So my perspective or my priorities have changed. As a working transcriber, my ears need to be tip-top. As a somebody that's passionate about supporting a singer, I put a lot of time into my piano practice. I'm studying piano with a great piano teacher currently. I put more time into my piano playing than I do my guitar playing, because again, it's about those end goals. It's about where you want to be 5 years from now, whatever time period you set yourself. I see more value for myself in the piano department than the guitar department, because I've transitioned in my mind away from being a guitar player. I'm now just a musician. I listen and I hear music. So I want to be able to listen to a band. I don't know, like, you want to be on a gig and somebody comes up to you and says, can you play I Have Nothing by Whitney Houston? And as a band, you want to be able to hear that in your minds and go, yeah, okay, we can do this. We know the harmony for this. Guys, what key do you want to do this in? And you want to be able to take a stab at that. That wasn't useful to 16-year-old Levi. So I think that's very important to establish. You need to know who you are as a player. Francesco Ferrari is online. Great guitar player in his own right. Somebody that 16-year-old Levi spent a lot of time listening to. 16-year-old Levi picked up Francesco's album Suspension. Suspension? I can see the cover of the album. I'm pretty sure it's called Suspension. Yeah, I picked up that album when I was like 16 years old. So big fan. Practice is so important to obtain the basic ability to play than what you like. Yeah, great, Leo. Thank you, Francesco. I appreciate that. Thomas Martino says 70-year-old student is finally practicing ear training, triads, and arpeggios. Yeah, so that's actually a really good example of the skills that are really useful to me as a player. Harmony, ear training, triads, arpeggios, being able to hear the chords, really, really useful to me. So it's the thing that I tend to work on. And, practice for me a lot of the time now is me sitting in front of the piano with Spotify open and just listening to song after song after song, and as quickly as I can, playing it on the piano. And the more you do that, the easier that becomes, right? So, let me just talk to you about who I am as a guitar player now. I went to see a gig earlier in the week, and it was Julian Lage. And he was playing with a trio. I saw him earlier in the year playing solo acoustic, and it was great. But then I saw him in the trio setting, and I was speechless when I came out. I couldn't put into words what I'd quite experienced. It was like I'd been changed at the DNA level because I was so inspired by what he did. Because when I listen to Julian play, he sounds like somebody who's not a guitar player. He sounds like a musician, a completely fluent musician, where the music just flows out of him and the guitar is the conduit for that. Or he's the conduit, the guitar is the... I don't know how you want to phrase that. But yeah, truly remarkable gig. And when I think about the players that I'm really inspired by, I think of, Julian, I think of Charlie Hunter, another big fan of Charlie Hunter's playing. Both when he plays the hybrid guitar, I do have one of those hybrid guitars, which is really, really cool. But not just on the... I don't want to say it's gimmicky, but kind of gimmicky in the sense that it's niche is probably the better way of putting it. I love all of that stuff and I think that's super cool. But if you check him out on he did a couple of organ trio records with Sam Freibush, love those records, and he's just playing regular 6-string guitar on that, and I love it. And I like it when he does the Blind Blake thing on the acoustic. He does a lot of that on Instagram. But the point is, these are players that I'm inspired by. I like Pat Martino or Josh Smith, Oz Noy. There's all of these great players that are representative of the work that I put in. The point I'm getting at is the work that I put in is probably different from the work that you guys want to be putting into things. But there's always going to be crossover. There's always going to be crossover. What I will say is your ears are the most important thing. Simple. Hands down, your ears are the most important thing. You're musicians. And I kind of joke about this. Sometimes I want to turn the video off so you can't see me, so you just have to listen. Because we're musicians. We play music. And we play music for people to listen to. So we should be listening to everything that we play. Nothing that we play on our instruments should surprise us. When we put our fingers down to play a note, you should never go, oh, that's a cool note. In the same way that I would if I put my guitar in a strange open tuning that I'm not used to playing in, like Dadgad. I don't have much experience in Dadgad. If I played Dadgad and then just played some arpeggio patterns in Dadgad, I would be surprised by the notes that I hear because I'm not fluent in Dadgad. Whereas standard tuning, when I put my hands down, any sound that I can hear in my head, I know where to put my hands to get that sound. And anytime I go to put my finger down, I can anticipate what that sound is going to sound like before I play the note. So our ears are just the most important thing. Let me keep reading. Bluegrass players, not just bluegrass. Jazz just says Guthrie Govan. Yeah, okay. That's a Guthrie. Actually, that's also a Guthrie Govan. Being a musician is a lifetime of practice and staying in shape. Yeah. Well, I'm not so in shape, but yeah. For me, the exciting thing about music is it's a lifetime of practice knowing that you'll never achieve mastery of it. Never. You think you will. you'll have a vision of where you want to go, and there'll be a goal in the distance. You go, right, I'm going to head for that goal, and then when you get there, you realize actually you just have the horizon. Or sorry, it was just the horizon, and then suddenly there's this whole new world of things for you to listen to and learn about. Yeah. Good question, Alexander Hunting. But what are some techniques to help us practice better? Very good question. Segue. Well, okay. I just want to. I've got some notes here for myself. So I want you to think of like a Venn diagram. I was going to make a Venn diagram, but of course a Venn diagram is a bunch of circles and they have overlapping sections. And you could put different words inside of all of those circles. One would be technique, okay? One would be mind, and one would be ears. And then there'd be lots of circles that you might choose to put in your own personal Venn diagram of skills that you can have on the guitar player, skills that you can have on the guitar as a guitar player. And I think we would all agree that being a great guitar player and being kind of maximally effective in our practice would be where all of those things overlap. In the middle of all of that Venn diagram, where everything overlaps, good technique, good ears, good mind, good tone, whatever it happens to be. Good performer, whether you consider it or not, good performer. In the middle where they all overlap, that's a good guitar player. The problem with the Venn diagram is it doesn't necessarily help us to truly understand what you personally need to be a good guitar player. So instead you want to think more like a pie chart, and a pie chart made up of different percentages. And you could look at every player that you know and like and appreciate, and you could think to yourself, what percentage of their greatness is made up by technique? What percentage of their greatness is made up by how good their ears are? As I've got older, what I've realised is that I put too much technique into my pie, and I didn't put enough mind. I didn't put enough ears into my pie. So, important aspect of your practice, just checking I'm not missing any important comments. Important aspect of your practice is not necessarily building yourself a new pie, but it's about adjusting and working on the areas that are lacking in your pie. So for me, my technique used to be very, very good, but I used my technique as a way to hide the fact that I didn't have the ears that I really should have had to be the player that I wanted to be. You don't work on that by continuing to work on your technique, you work on the ears. So an important aspect of your practice is working on the skills that you need to be developing in order to make that pie chart balanced, and not necessarily 50-50 or 33-33. It doesn't have to be equal, but the pie chart in your mind that you're going for. What type of player am I? When you think of a player like, I don't know, Jason Richardson. Oh, I picked Jason. Great player, like really, really great player. I think it would probably be fair to say that as a player, technique is a more important part of his pie than say his ears. You know, not because his ears aren't important, but because technique is like a really driving factor in his playing. Memorizing is a big part of practice. Isn't memorizing rather part of learning? It looked like they were the same person, but they're not. So memorizing is a big part of practice. Interesting comment, Alexander. I don't actually believe it is. I believe it can be if you're a technique-based player. And this is what I learned. So in my development as a player, because I'm so focused on my ears now, the reason I'm so focused on my ears is because memorization was the most important part of my practice. Because everything I played on the guitar, be it, Dream Theater covers or Racer X solos or whatever it was I was working on, everything I did was a feat of memory. I was memorizing this huge, long composition. I'm memorizing, I put my fingers here. This is where my finger goes in order to play the thing. And if you remember 1,000 different notes in a row, then at the end of it, you've memorized the thing. But as I developed my ear, I realized that I actually have to remember less, because my ear takes care of the thing, and I've connected my fingers to my ears. So if I can remember what a solo sounds like, or remember what a riff sounds like, if I just listen for what's coming up, then I'm actually able to execute that thing much more effectively. But I promise, we're about to get on some playing, don't worry. Memorization. So probably best to ask this now. How do you manage shiny object syndrome, or jump between applied theory topics, technique, genre, styles, players, learning to skillfully improvise? Honestly, Live for English, I struggle with that myself. Because the shiny object thing it can be seen as both a crutch but also a carrot. Is probably the best way of thinking about that shiny object approach to things. For me, because my tastes in music are so varied, if I get bored of one thing, or let me rephrase that, if I get excited by another thing, I can go and on that tangent and work on that thing, where another player, if they were to just stick to one thing, might experience some sort of mental fatigue. But for me, I can work on something like, we're going to look at some Paganini, I can work on that for an hour or two, and then when I get to the end of that, rather than being like, oh, I'm exhausted with this now, I can actually go off and work on, I don't know, Travis picking, or piano playing, or slide guitar, or, chord melody, or country licks, or whatever it is. So I actually tend to embrace that side of my wants as a player, because it's kind of shaped who I am as a player. It's the reason, I've got friends that are hardcore metal guys. They have been their entire lives, and they will be until the day they die. They're not lesser musicians. I would say they're focused musicians, Whereas me, I was interested in learning, Paul Gilbert stuff, but then I was also interested in learning Tower of Power stuff. Brent Mason, of course, big influence on me. I think that, for me, that shiny magpie thing is something to embrace. Hello, Rick, and you made it late. Jim C says Chris Mullen, like he's yeah, Chris, don't forget to hit that like button. Just back in from lunch. Chet Baker could just hear chords and play over them without knowing them prior. How do we get to that level? That's a brilliant question. Yeah, so you heard that Chet Baker could do that, and that makes sense when you think about it. And I'm trying to avoid talking about my website. The way I teach ear training is you have the academic versus the practical, and I think it's important in your practice that you're doing as well. It's so important to understand that when Stevie Wonder was 6 years old, he didn't know chords, He didn't know anything. He didn't know any theory, anything like that. But you could hear a thing and then find it on your instrument. And the more time you work on that, the better you get at that as a skill. We have to remember that jazz music comes out of black culture, right? You could argue Creole culture as well for that kind of early New Orleans jazz culture. But it's a kind of other culture. It certainly didn't come from schooled musicians. We think of it maybe now as being a thing for schooled musicians, but when you look back throughout the history of jazz music, there are so many great players who didn't read, who didn't go to school, who don't know music theory. But why would they have to? If I play this, yeah. In fact, I'll just set up a loop. If I play this. I think most people, your parents, could probably hear okay, it's a sound, it fits. But what is it that made me play that rather than playing or what is it that made me do that? Or if I take something like, let's play this. Let's actually give it a groove. So this has a sound. When I hear this, if I just and I look for home, the root note. This is my home, right? This sounds like home. We have to hear this sound and be able to ask ourselves, what do my ears want? And I don't have to think theory. I can go. I go. Ba da 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 ba da 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 ba da da ba da 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 da. So I didn't come at that with a starting with theory, right? There are so many players throughout the history of music that can play like that. They hear a sound, and then whatever that sound is, they imagine melody over the top of it, and they play that melody. The only way you can work on that is by developing your ears and putting aside your technique. But I promise we're going to come back to that in the later part of the stream. Rasta wants to hear about the website. Okay, before we do the technique thing, I'll give you the website thing. I will read these comments though. As for myself, I only focus on scales and arpeggios, but neglected rhythmic subdivision. Yeah, very, very important. For me, Wayne Krantz was like the game changer for that. Because I can, if I put on like a metronome, if this works, should work. Let's actually make it faster than that. So we can play in time. But then I can syncopate. Yeah, I could just go round and round and round forever on that. Syncopating and trying to mix up my rhythms a little bit and trying to be interesting with everything I play. Rhythmic subdivision and rhythm just in general, just time feel and swing, like live for it. You mentioned knowing who you are as a guitarist. I've never thought I play country. I've had to learn 150 songs quickly as a lead player and find that when I learned I can't recall unless I look at my transcriptions. My ear is good, been transcribing for 40 years. I find chord progression is kind of the important thing there. George, well, I think it depends who you are as a player. I'm okay not playing the songs note for note when I play in bands. Everything feels more improvisational when I play things. So if I'm playing, I don't know, like Alan Jackson's Chattahoochee, like. Now, obviously, I'm not going to play like that on it, but I can hear the chord progression in my mind. So I think playing over it becomes easy. Outlining chord changes there and probably wouldn't play. I'm on the wrong guitar to be playing more country, but yeah, that's how I'm thinking with things like that. I'm going to play the ad, read these comments to myself so I can process them, then we're going to come back and we're going to talk about technique. Okay, we'll start the stream talking about technique, so Here comes an ad for you guys. I'm being told there's no sound on the ad. Huh. Not entirely sure why that is. Hang on. I think I might have an idea. Preparation. I can see the sound. I can hear the sound. I'm not sure why you can't, but I think I have an idea. 2 seconds. For those of you that are new to the channel or only know me through my transcriptions, about 10 years ago I started a concept called guided practice. Did the audio come in there? If I press play on this, is there audio? Hi guys, Levi here. I just wanted to take a minute to share something really special with you. Today Can hear me now? Just somebody else confirm? Oh, well, there it is. Okay, good. Sorry guys. It's a weird OBS thing, and yeah, got it. I was reading your comments. I was having fun with them. There's some really good ear training questions there. I'm going to press play on the ad. Hi guys, Levi here. I just wanted to take a minute to share something really special with you. Today marks an exciting new chapter in the guided practice routines journey. For those of you that are new to the channel or only know me through my transcriptions, about 10 years ago I started a concept called guided practice routines, or GPR, and it was really born out of wanting to create a better way of getting results for my students. It started with a pretty simple idea, to go beyond the lesson by providing actual practice routines students could follow along with. A traditional guitar lesson usually means seeing a teacher for an hour a week and they cram that hour full of information, quickly brush over some exercises, and then you're expected to remember it all and motivate yourself to actually do it. Well, the guided practice routine method is like having a teacher and a personal trainer at the same time. You learn something and then you're meticulously guided through a practice routine where we can play all of the exercises together. It's education and accountability all in one. Now over time it grew way beyond what I ever imagined. Between the books, the Patreon and hundreds of practice routines, it's reached over 100,000 guitarists around the world, and honestly it's been one of the most rewarding things that I've ever done. But I always knew that there was a way that I could take it to another level. Something easier to use, better organised, more interactive, and just an overall richer experience for anyone who really wants to commit to getting better at the guitar. So today I'm thrilled, like genuinely so excited, to officially announce the launch of guidedpracticeroutines.com, a brand new platform dedicated to delivering the best guitar lessons imaginable through what I truly believe is the best format, the guided practice routine system. This has been a huge undertaking. It's taken years of planning, filming, writing, and organising hundreds of hours of work to make sure it's the absolute best that it can be. Inside, you'll find a full library of courses, lessons, workouts, and live streams with new content added every week. Every single thing is designed to take the guesswork out of your practice and help you make real noticeable progress that you can actually hear in your playing. All of the new courses are fully integrated with Sound Slice, so you can slow things down, loop sections, and see the notation and tab in real time. It really takes the practice experience to another level. There's also an exclusive community where we can all share progress, ask questions, and support each other. It's truly the most complete realization of the guided practice routine vision that I've been able to offer. Honestly, this feels like a brand new chapter for guided practice routines. It's something I've dreamed about for years, and I'm incredibly proud of what it's become. So if you've ever used one of my books or done a Patreon routine, or just want to take your playing more seriously, this is the next step. I'd love for you to come and check it out. There's even an exclusive launch discount just this week, so signing up now is actually cheaper than my Patreon was. And that ends at the end of the week. I'll drop the link in the description so you can see what it's all about. Thank you so much for watching, and thanks for all of the support over the years. It truly means the world to me and my family. I hope to see some of you guys inside. Any questions? Sound off below. I'm always reading and happy to get back to you. Much love. It worked. And I changed guitar, see? Did I change guitar or did I just change the colour of the guitar? This is another Gibson Howard Roberts. It's like I've become a Gibson guy. I learned something just recently though, because I don't look at modern guitars. I'm not into modern guitars. I just learned that Gibson don't actually make hollow bodies anymore. They don't make archtop jazz guitars anymore. Like, damn it, guys! I've just like I've got like 3 Gibsons here, and I like all of them like a lot, but they don't make anything like that anymore. So, anyway, let's do some practice. So, I want to start by talking about technique. So, like I say, not a huge part of my practice, but it is an important part to consider. We can also, when we're working on technique, I think the thing that I haven't really talked about yet is a lot of guitar teachers are going to focus on the physical. Like, the physical is the important part of how to play and get really good on the guitar. But I'm going to try and sell you on the idea of the mind. The mind is just so much more important than the physical. It's like, I don't know, like learning to run, or like being a cross-country runner, or whatever. I don't know, like there are so many. Being a football player is a nice example, like soccer player. I played soccer when I was younger and I enjoyed it, but at no time did I sit down and really with somebody talk about the physics of kicking a ball, the physics of putting spin on a ball. Now, some people, they're lucky. They learn to do that stuff intuitively, but some people benefit greatly from understanding the thing. So developing your mind is going to be really, really, really beneficial to you. So I've got a little transcription on screen of Paganini's 16th Caprice. This is something that I've been using a lot to warm up. I'm working on a course for the website called Paganini Picking, where we're going to look through this and break this down. And I used to play this, back when I was like 15 or 16. I just thought it'd be a fun thing to kind of work up. Now, I've arranged it on screen. This is the way I would personally play it. So I would... That's how I'm going to play that. And when it comes to talking about technique and how we're going to practice this right now, I'm using this as a workout, as a challenge for my alternate picking technique. So although you could take that first line and play like and sweep it, I'm really consciously trying to work on really consistent. And the first thing to consider when it comes to the mind and the ear training side of things is that line is more than a physical pattern. So I learned this when I was a kid, but now I truly listen and understand the line. So I understand it as a G minor, melodic minor type arpeggio thing. And when we listen to it, do ba 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 da boo da ba ba boo boo. When you can hear that, do 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 do. My pitching's terrible, obviously, but I'm trying to show you the thing that I'm hearing inside. We can start learning that melody in different areas. Yeah, so Richard's commented that he went straight to the second sweeping option before I said it, and that's the point. I'm trying to make this harder for you, so I want you to alternate pick this. The reason you're going for the sweeping is because you can't alternate pick it, yeah? Which is why we should work on that side of things. So we could play it there. Whoops. We could play it here. We could do it here. Here. Yes, I could play it here. Or here. Now, as I move into different places with that, I'm going to find that I don't like the sound of them so much. And you're really looking for the one that you like the sound of. For me, I like this one over this. Yeah, I definitely prefer going onto the high E string for that. Because to my ear, I'm hearing my arpeggio do its thing. And as I cross strings, the strings gradually become thinner, which in turn means they are more trebly in nature. And I think you hear that, it's like more trebly, more trebly, more trebly. But then if you go, that's tonally consistent. So it's like increases, increases, stays the same, decreases. I don't want that. I want increases, decreases. It's consistent to my ears, at least. Yeah, lots of people talk about doing the 24th caprice, but I think the 16th is more fun. So if I put on a metronome, before trying to play the whole piece, I'm just going to put my metronome at maybe 75 BPM. Check you're getting that. Yeah. So I'm ringing it. I'm actually going to make it a little bit slower than that for you at this stage. Let's go. We'll up it. I'll put my metronome at like 110 and I'll play eighth notes. So, important part of practice, relaxation, breathing. Breathing's so important. Everything when I do this should be completely relaxed. My timing's going to suffer a little bit when I talk. I know these aren't the scrolling tabs that I promised. That's because we don't have a backing track for this one. So I would put my time into this. But what I'll encourage you to do is also work on your dynamics. So play something like this as quiet as you can. And loud. Because that's technique, right? That's control of your technique. Hello, Jeff. Jeff's the best student. Jeff's one of my favourites. I've worked with Jeff for a long time. I've taken Jeff from being a guitar student to a full-time professional musician. Very, very proud of Jeff. Now if I push up the speed to something like, I don't know, let's do 70. We'll play 16th notes. Dappa, 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 da. And I'm just repeating that first part. And I'm telling myself that as I'm doing this, this is a G minor arpeggio. I'm trying to hear it. Hey Jimmy. Jimmy worked on this with me earlier in the week. And actually, I'm doing something else here, which is I found to be very beneficial for my playing, which is learning to talk while I'm playing. I think to talk while you're playing means that your technique should be very relaxed. It's like a proof that you can do the thing. Okay, let's push up the tempo just a little bit more. Let's push it up a fair bit. We can go up to push it up by 20 BPM. Now I might spend a lot of time on this. The reason I'm alternate picking that rather than sweeping it is when I sweep this, the rhythm's clunky. I'd probably yeah, rhythm is clunkier when you sweep it. It sounds different. Nothing wrong with sounding different, of course, but anyway, once I've done that first part, here's where things get a little bit interesting. So I'll slow my speed down. I'll look at my second part. And I look at this and I really try to understand what it is that I'm doing, right? I'm going... Ah, okay, what is this? Well, this is a D7 arpeggio. So it's like we're going from... Those are the chords, D7 arpeggio. We lead into it with this, but at its core, that's the 3rd of D, 5th of D, flat 9 of D, 5th of D, and then onto the D. So it's like a D7 flat 9 type sound. Interestingly, I looked at a few people doing lessons of this online, and they all played it wrong. They all play this. But it's very much a D in there. So, and this wants a lot of time actually, because you have that big position shift. So we work on this. Then I push up my speed on it. So, oh well, I'll just do 16th notes. And I would just practice this D7 idea. This should also show you actually why I really want to alternate pick this. Because transitioning my rhythm is going to be consistent versus a little bit sloppier. At that point I then might link the two parts together. Just bring my chat back up. Oh, Brett, nice to see Brett. Another really great success story in my teaching career. How's it going, man? Doing your taxes while playing, yeah. Yes, so Scott says he teaches 6 days a week, 46 students. Talking while playing is so underrated. That's why I started doing it, not from the teaching, but from watching all of these. I do a lot of lessons with piano players and organ players, and they can all talk while they're playing, and it's like, I should have this thing down. So it's just kind of felt necessary. It's a time saver, isn't it? Okay, then the next part. So what is that? I'm trying to use my mind. Oh, okay, this is, I know this. This is a diminished arpeggio. So I'd look at this and go, so I'm playing F sharp diminished 7. Here's the line. Whoops. Okay, so in my mind, G minor, D7, F sharp diminished. And what tends to happen with this, what tends to happen the more you do this, is you start to realise, oh, I'm not actually thinking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 notes. You're just thinking, it's a sound that I have and it's tied to my fingers. Same with the D7. They're just tied into the fingers. So that's fun, and yeah, it becomes really challenging from here actually. Or there's a fingering challenge with this. So I like this. We go up G7, down C minor, up F7 with a C in the bass, down B flat 7 or B flat major. So. So doing this, I'm really trying to be conscious, not just in the fingering pattern, but going G7, down C minor, up F7, down B flat. struggle with your, you know, those picking one note per string patterns, the cross picking things. Well, have I got a website for you? I've got an entire cross picking course there. But no, just in general, I find that a lot of my students tend to be weak on this. So I'll take that and just focusing on the relaxation when I do that, right? I think the important thing when you're doing something like this, though, is you're not looking to do this for your entire practice session. This is merely the appetizer. This is just a small part of what practice is. Because guess what? I don't play this stuff live. I never get to do stuff like this, nor would I want to. But if I pause that. How many times in my playing, if I'm playing like do I have like F sharp minor there? And when I watch a player like Julian Large, who I mentioned earlier in the stream, when you watch someone like that play, the idea of having an F sharp minor and going, why not force? If I go A, just working that one little line into there. It's like I've taken my ear has latched onto this idea that Paganini did. It doesn't matter the line, you know, anything you're working on, where we went, I can do that on anything when I'm playing that. All these things, and it's like there's in classical lines as well as blues lines, and I'm trying to get them all in. I'm trying to get them like frozen. Someone said a reload helped. Hello, hello. Hello, hello. For anybody that can hear me, I can see that I'm getting an error in my YouTube Studio saying that YouTube isn't responding, but it seems that it's okay now. We good? Yeah. What a nightmare. Anyway, what was I saying? Let me put my guitar up. I can see that I'm getting warnings saying that I'm getting dropped frames and stuff. You would think with the internet that I've got and that I pay for that this shouldn't be a problem, but it does say I have an excellent connection again. We should be okay. Oh, you panic setting there, guys. Anyway, so yeah, with that Paganini thing, like there's interesting lines that I can take from that, and you get it from a lot of classical music that we don't just get from playing blues. And don't get me wrong, I love the blues. Like it's who I am as a player. I don't play classical stuff, but understanding lines, understanding the shape of I've went into blues, right? The blues is who I am as a player. It's right in there. But really hearing those interesting sounding lines, all those sorts of lines come from practicing things like that. So I'm going to move on from Paganini. I didn't want to spend much time on it. It's, actually, I will just put the metronome click on. I'll just play the whole thing a couple of times because it's important that you do that in your practice, right? So. Just trying to have a nice relaxed picking hand as I do it. This is just the first part of the piece. And I'm probably playing much faster than I should be. We'll stop there. Shut up, metronome! Yeah, so, the technique side of things, it's important to me, but not as important as the ear side of things to me. Like, I want you to be able to play that, but not even play it. Like, you can't play a thing like that until you can go. I can't sing up there. I'm not even going to. It's like. What I'm doing there is not singing for you to showcase my singing, because that's not singing, right? Now I'm just showing off. I'm not showing off singing there. I'm just trying to show you what I'm hearing inside. So I'm really deeply connected with the sound of that thing. Every single little aspect of that is so ingrained in my ear. I want to say I could sing it if I needed to. I obviously can't sing it. But so when I do that, it's like the hands are playing the thing that I'm hearing. So memory is a killer for something like this. Trying to remember all of these notes, absolutely hellish. But when you can hear it, you find that you panic less, because when I was doing that, I went, what comes next? And you hear it. Coming up a G7 arpeggio, coming down minor, going up a major, coming down a major triad, and you have that boo da da da, boo boo da da da, ba da da ba. Just trying to be really relaxed. Yeah, that's a nice old pick and water. So, like I say, it's such a minimally important part of the study and the practice for me. I'm not gonna play that whole ad again, but I'm just gonna put a screen up and change guitar. Okay, 2 seconds. Okay, we've switched. We're on the Benedetto, the Pat Martino, because this is my baby. My shirt keeps pulling up every time I lift this up. This is my baby, my Pat Martino signature model. Going to a jam session. Enjoy, Ben. Hope you have a great time. Can we talk about how important it is to use a metronome? Oh, that's a controversial one, Scott. No, we can't. I mean, we can. I don't think metronomes are important, and I don't really use them a whole lot in my practice. I'm with Jeff Berlin on this. When I look at all of the great players that I love and enjoy throughout the history of pop music, soul music, rock music, you look at all the great Motown records or the Stax records, they all had great time and none of them used metronomes, right? So it's impossible for us to conclude that using a metronome gives you good time. It's a really great way to measure your time, but that's not the same as using it to develop good time, if that makes sense. And music breathes. Music speeds up, slows down. The aspect of my Bach book that's coming out that I'm unhappy with is that in order to make practice for you guys effective, I recorded everything with a click track and then took the click tracks off and gave you both so you could play with the other part. So it needed to be in time. But when you play music like that, it doesn't play in time. You slow down and you speed up. When the music becomes exciting, it gets faster. When the music is supposed to lull, it slows down. And that same thing is true on every great record that you and I enjoy. There is no great record that I look at, like if I think of like Tower of Power, playing the song Down to the Nightclub, really great example of time feel on a song. I love that track. There's no one listening to the stream that would say, yeah, that tune's really cool, but it would sound better if they recorded it to a click track. They rush in places, they slow down in places. That's natural. Playing with a metronome for a long, long time and just thinking that time is fixed is no good when you play with other musicians, because if your drummer speeds up, what do? Do you just stay metronomically in time and then afterwards say, that was your fault, you were speeding up and you shouldn't have? No, you move together, you move as a unit. So, so a better question is how do you how do you develop good time? Practice with metronome on 2 and 4. This guitar is a Benedetto. It's a Pat Martino signature model. This is my pride and joy. It's there's nothing flashy about it, nothing fancy about it at all. It's just a Les Paul style. It's not actually. It's hollow. It's a jazz guitar. It was actually based very heavily on this, which is a Gibson ES446, which I love, and I'll play at some point on this stream. Just a Pat Martino signature model. So very plain in terms of what it is, but just expertly made. Really nice guitar. Love it a lot. And I just love Pat. Yeah, really like this guitar. Anyway, so how do you develop good time? Well, for me, like I say, practicing with my metronome on 2 and 4. which was something I was very anti 10 years ago. I remember being that young shredder, I took the position of something's either in time or it's not. And if something's not in time, then you need to fix it being in time. But actually, I actually now appreciate when things aren't in time. I like a lot of laid-back neo-soul type grooves, that kind of Dilla time thing, where everything is played really late. Metronomes didn't help with that. That's not, you don't learn to. It's like quintuple swing feel. You don't count that, you feel it. Guys like Adam Neely might teach you how you can count it, but it misses the point, because the guys that do it, they don't count it, they feel it, because it's pragmatism. It's academic versus practical. All these great musicians came from the school of practical. This is what the music sounds like, this is how we copy it. When I listen to Joe Pass or Pat Martino, their swing feel is great, but they push and pull their swing. Sometimes it's dead straight, and then it might swing a little bit, and then it swings hard, and it blurs. And I just, for me, metronome is not the one for that. But to Scott's point, there are some aspects of your practice where using a metronome is very important. When you're working on your technique like this and you're trying to measure your progress, very important. So, anyway, the backing tracks that we're going to use for this next section, they're all in time, and that annoys me. I wish they pushed and pulled with time, like real music does. The 446. No, that wasn't. I was using the Gibson Howard Roberts. Oh, my screen just went off. Okay, it's back on. Cool, we're still going. Right, let's move on to the next thing. So, looking at the mind. This is, you'll get different mileage as. Let's try that again. Your mileage will vary depending on what type of player you want to be. So if I bring up this boring diagram, circle of fifths, and this is pertinent to Jason, who I know has been who's been working on the circle of fifths just recently. Like for me, the circle of fifths is not useful to all players. It's simply not. For the longest time, it wasn't useful to me, but now being a piano player, it is useful to me. It's something that I do work on. It's something that I use for practice, because I have to play everything in 12 keys on the piano. Whereas the guitar is much more shape-based, so the circle of fifths is less important. But I'm going to give you some cool exercises that we can do. So what we have here, circle of fifths, and depending on the level of understanding that you have of something like this, is how much you can work on your mind when you're playing over the practice track. So when you're playing over a practice track in 12 keys, you could just physically play the patterns, or you could engage a little bit more. You could say, whilst you're playing C, the next key is F. You could say, while you're playing F, F has one flat in it, and it's a B flat. That sort of knowledge, 5 sharps is the key of B, and they are F, C, G, A, and D. Knowing stuff like that is only relevant for certain players, but can be used in our practice. So all we need to really focus on with the circle of fifths is just the pitches at this stage. Start on C and we go anti-clockwise. So C, F, B flat, E flat, A flat, D flat, G flat, B, E, A, D, G, repeat. Or C, F, B to G, B, E, A, D, G with flats, B to G, repeat. C, F, B, E, A, D, G, all with flats. C, F, B flat, E flat, A flat, D flat, G flat, B, E, A, D, G, repeat. That's our circle of fifths. Like, we can memorize that, we can learn that. And it's useful for us because it's musical gravity. So if I jump to my guitar, if I'm playing a C, C naturally wants to go towards F. F wants to go to a B flat. B flat wants to go to A flat, wants to go to... go round and round your circle like that. Sometimes it's thought, sometimes it's heard, but musical gravity is the reason we're going to do it this way. Now I have a backing track for us that I'm going to put on, and I'm trying to think if I did the basic tab for this. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do triads over this, and this is mind, okay? So we have to ask ourselves, can we play, I'll just do this on D, G and B strings. Can I play C major triads along the strings? C, 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 C. And then we ask ourselves, well, where do we go after C? We go to F. Can I play F? F, 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 F. Can I play B flat? After B flat, E flat. A flat. Now, you can slow this down to the point where you're able to actually think. So if I went C, after C, I'm going to F. Where is F? F is down here. F, F, F. Now at its core, we're kind of training ourselves to hear melody over these changes. You're playing. Like you should be hearing that melody as we do it. Like I say, you can just play one chord on this. You could force yourself to go C for 2 bars, 4 bars. I forget what the backing trick is. F. What comes after F? B flat. And you can challenge yourself. B flat. That's 2 flats. B flat and E flat. After B flat is E flat. 3 flats. B flat, E flat, A flat. After E flat, A flat. B flat, E flat, A flat, D flat. And you can just work round like this. D flat goes to G flat. Now we're getting to the sharps. B, E, A, D, G, repeat. B, E, A, D, G, repeat. If I put on the backing track, you'll see the exercise I've written for you. So I think it's this one. Oh. Let me check. Yeah, that's coming through. So to F. I'm giving myself time to think. F. What comes after F? B flat. B flat. Can I see the B flat? Coming down, B flat. After B flat comes E flat. After E flat comes A flat. After A flat comes D flat. We're onto G flat. Moving to B. After B comes E. Going to A. Going to D. G. We're back home. So, first thing to say there, it's a boring exercise, right? But there's a difference in practice. When you're looking for really meaningful practice, it's about really understanding the difference between excitement and necessity. You know, exercise is boring. Repetitions are boring. Repeating the same thing over and over is boring. But that's what practice is. That's what development is. That's how we get better. I dither on a stream like this, I want to play that again all the way through. That's what I do on guidedpracticeroutines.com. Like we take the exercises, we learn about them, we learn the theory, we discuss it, we conceptualize it, but then we move into the territory of practicing it, and we do the repetitions. We put in the repetitions together. We play the thing, because that's how we get better. We play the thing. Playing the thing makes us better at the thing. It's a hard thing to conceptualize for people, but you do unfortunately have to do it, and it doesn't matter how you're practicing it. So in this case, I'm playing C major. I'm playing major triads on the D, G, and B string. But it could be anything. It could be scale. I could do this if I just play scales over it, right? This one. So I might go. I'll just change the scales. So. Now, obviously, I don't need to play through the entire chord progression, but that would be practice, right? It's unsexy, and there's a few little clams in there, but I'm just trying to really focus on the idea of repetition building like development. Repetition is the thing that solidifies or moves things from that short term into the long term. So not particularly interesting, but beneficial. Can we get a trial subscription to your program, Alexander? There is 7-day free trial, if memory serves me right. I didn't do the web building side of things. Yeah, I think I feel like I should click on that, but lots of sites are offering a free trial, but unfortunately I take the position, unfortunately for you, I guess unfortunately for me as well, unfortunately I take the position of my track record as a teacher is proven. I can't see the need for it, if that makes sense. Like, I'm good at what I do, and there's a no quibble money back guarantee on the website. So in a sense, there's a free trial, but yeah, from a goodwill perspective, and I've not actually mentioned this actually. We've got 20% discount running on the website currently. So, and that's just for a week. For the next week, you get 20% off your membership, and that will stay with you for as long as you're a member. That's not 20% off your first month. That's not 20% off your first year. That's 20% off forever. If you leave and come back at another point, you'll get the standard price. So that price is only available for a week. Go and grab yourself a copy. Go and grab yourself a subscription. So if I look at a slightly more interesting exercise than just playing, it's all relevant. It's all relative, though, isn't it? Like, an idea like that is only boring if you can do it. So if I make something a little bit more interesting, like if I take my triads and connect them melodically. So if I play C, I can go from C to C by playing, and I'm going to sing it, right? Ba da da, 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 ba da da. That would be a C major, connected up melodically. I'll have to think a little bit more. My brain will have to do a little bit more processing to really play that over a backing track. especially when I'm doing that and I'm going, playing C, but I'm having to think about that. I'll go to F when I get back down to the bottom, then I'll change to F. I can hear this melody on top of my chords, but then I'm going to B flat. Whoops. To E flat. Now, the melody that you pick to play with your chords is largely irrelevant. You have to be able to do it free time, and then in your practice, kind of contradicting what I said to Scott earlier, a metronome or a backing track, fixed time, is what puts stress on the mind. So if you're looking to improve your mind, you have to put it under stress. You can't play this free time for your whole life and expect, and I'm actually playing in time here, so I'll free time it. You can't do this and expect to get better at being able to find these things. You have to put yourself under the stress of playing this exercise in time, which is hellish. And you have to hear it. Well, you don't have to, but if you're trying to develop your ears, I'm trying to do this from the perspective of hearing. So like I say, ba da 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 da. What have we got here? I'm wondering what scale you have in mind when you're connecting the triad shapes. Chris, that is a really good question, and I'm going to tell you it doesn't matter. First, because I'm not playing a scale there. Or okay, some people will call it the gospel scale. I'm playing 6 notes of a 7-note scale because I'm just asking my ear, what note do I want to connect this note to this note? We're trying to use our ears as a skill, not using theory as a prescriptive skill to tell us what to play. So I'm trying to say to myself, ba, da, 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 da. But you know what? If you hear this, you're not wrong. You know, it's just not the sound that I'm hearing. It's not the sound that I'm going for. I'm going for this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1. It's like a major pentatonic scale. But I'm also playing the 4 because I need to play something that connects my 3 to my 5. And actually, I didn't put enough emphasis on this. When I'm playing these voicings, I am very aware. Root note on top, 3rd on top, 5th on top, root note on top. Always focused on what's on top because that's the melody. The note that's on the bottom isn't really hugely relevant to me because the bass player is going to be here and he's going to be playing an actual C underneath all of this. So this is actually a C major triad with the root on top. I'm never thinking of it as a first inversion because the bass player is always here playing this. This. I can't hear my piano, but you can. Yeah, so hearing that 3rd, hearing my 3rd on top of my chord. This is just a 3rd melody note on top of my chord with the bass players playing the bass note. So, yeah, when I can focus on that, then any triad becomes... The GPR website is open right now, Arif. You can check out the link in the description. Head there and join us. So, the melody, yeah. It doesn't have to be that. I could do this. That would work as a melody, right? I could do something. Actually, let me play that exercise to a backing track, and then we'll do something more interesting. Whoops. Where am I? D flat, G flat. I was getting complacent with my melody. B. Apparently I need more work. E. Apparently B needs more work. E feels easy. Playing E a lot. A is easy. I could say 3 sharps. A, F. Apparently I can't talk while doing that. D, 2 sharps. F sharp and C sharp. Oh, wrong sheet. Come back to that. Okay, yeah. So that's a really boring melody. But there were a few spots in there where I made mistakes, you know? But that's what practice is about. I have to, for me, you know, that's useful to me because I'm somebody that plays over chord changes. And when I'm playing over chord changes, if I was playing like, I don't know, the chicken, if I played the chicken, it's in B flat. Common chord progression in like a jazz fusion jam setting, right? I have to be able to hear here we go. Yeah, D flat. It's a bit weird sound. And then C. Yeah, so I'm like hearing that chord progression, and then I'm just using it as a vehicle to hear and practice those triads, because at its core, if I can hear a chord, I should always be able to hear that melody. The wild thing about this, though, is if you wanted to make it a little bit more theoretically challenging for yourself, you absolutely can, because when I do this, if you actually look at the melody notes that I've played, the passing tones, sorry, we've got D, F, A, D. What is that? D, F, A. That's a D minor. D minor triad. I could actually play D minor triads on all of those. I could go C major, D major, C major, sorry, D minor, C major, D minor, C major, D minor, C major, D minor, C major, D minor, C. Oh, whoops. That's a really pleasing sound to my ears, and I would play all of that over a C chord. You know, I'm just if I set up a loop for myself, get rid of that. all those triads work over there, and I think getting really good at this sort of stuff means you have to practice that a lot for it to be really automatic. But you'll find it happens and you're playing naturally. Like if I think of an example, we play. I've not done a guitar gig in a while. Most of my gigs have been piano gigs, so I'm having to think what keys we do things in when we're playing in different. But if I take something like CeeLo Green's "Forget You," we do that in D flat. So if we're playing. That's D flat, E flat 7, G flat. I'm actually not thinking that. I'm thinking 1, 2 but dominant, 4. I'll do things like. If I lay down the chords underneath, if I go, I'll play slower so you can hear them. Let's try that again. So I'm going. I just saw a comment there. I feel disappointed. I just got the site yesterday. I thought everything was with SoundSlice. So everything that has been made for the website is with SoundSlice. Everything that has been made for the website is with SoundSlice. We just decided that it made sense to include everything that I had on the Patreon page as well. So I'm just throwing in all the stuff that's on the Patreon page. Those are their own separate thing on the website. They're listed under legacy routines. Oops. Those are listed under legacy routines because they're not the new modern, they're not modern guided practice. They are where the concept came from. They all have animated scrolling tablature in them rather than SoundSlice integration. We looked at integrating SoundSlice on those, but it felt weird to have SoundSlice animated playing tab whilst there was animated tab on screen, if that makes sense. So everything that I'm making, everything that's been made for the website, all the new courses, workouts of the day, etc., they all have SoundSlice integration. SoundSlice integration for all those. And to be honest, this is going to sound... Yes, I'm not putting down my own content, but I don't want you watching the legacy routines, if I'm honest. They're there, and obviously I stand by them, I made them, but I think the content is better now in terms of the video production and, just general organisation of things. From my perspective, it's kind of my job to encourage you to look at all of the course material and the workouts of the day and supplement it with the legacy routines if you choose to. But really, the focus of guidedpracticeroutines.com is the courses page. The courses, because there's a lot of content on that courses page. The workouts of the day that I'm filming, there's a lot of stuff there. Thanks for tuning in, Fred. Appreciate it. How long are the guided practice routines? How long are the guided practice routines? How long does one practice a routine have to be beneficial? That's an interesting question, Master. That's going to depend from person to person, from player to player, because I'm practicing stuff that I was practicing years ago, because I'm still benefiting from the practice. So and the lengths of practice routines depends. So if you look at the workout of the day page, I've recorded some practice routines. So I did some subjects on Workout of the Day, and we're trying this out as a way of doing things, where I'll record a 10-minute routine, a 15-minute routine, and a 20-minute routine. That sounds appealing to a lot of people, but as the person that had to sit in front of the camera and get a take of me recording a strenuous workout of 20 minutes without making mistakes, it's hard. It was hard work for me. So I feel that for you as the end user, it's equally hard. I've got the wrong camera on really for this. I feel it's equally hard for you to sit through a full 20-minute routine, but generally speaking, I aim for the play-along routines to be about 10 minutes, but we're toying with these 20-minute routines as well. And the idea, of course, is that you can log on, check out whatever you're working on most recently, go to the lesson that you're working on, and then go to the routine for that lesson and play the full routine with me. So aiming for about 10 minutes, but we're creating longer routines for people so they are there. But for me, 20 minutes feels extensive. We were actually talking about doing half an hour routines as well, and I'm just like, who's doing these? Who's just do a couple of 10-minute routines. Don't sit and play. Don't make me play a thing for 30 solid minutes. Anyway, right. Just one last thing on that. So really nice melody on that. But if you get really good at this, you should be able to do that on every chord. So I could do that on D minor. I could do it on E minor. Do it on F. Do it on G. A minor. B diminished. C. I could play that as an exercise. Whoops. Try and get the fingering right. You could connect that chromatically. I might go. Exercises like this where I'm trying to hear that with my ear, right? I'm hearing that. I'm really trying to tune my ear into that specific thing. Are we going to go through a routine today? I thought that was what today was about. Well, in theory, David, we are. I'm just putting a lot of teaching in between. So if I click back to this, this. Are you playing along, David? But I don't want to play that. It's a 2-minute exercise. I don't want to sit here and play that 3 times in a row on a stream where people are looking for information. So the exercises are there. You know, you can rewind and play through those exercises along with me. I've got more exercises, and I've been on for almost 2 hours, and I've not got to the not the important part, but the ear aspect that I wanted to look at. So more exercises here for you, and awesome. You can do that on all string sets. So, well, can you do it on all string sets with the melody? I would say. So if I'm playing my C down here, could I play like? Let's go. Whoops. C. There we go. C. My ear heard it, and I'm just playing too fast to hit the thing. Like, we want to challenge ourselves with the thing that we're doing. So if that chord progression is playing through the circle of fifths is easy, then we increase the tempo, because by increasing the tempo, we increase the stress on the mind. By increasing stress on the mind, we make our practice more meaningful. We make the outcomes of our practice more effective. So really focusing on increasing the stress on the mind. And if you're finding that easy, then we try and make the melody that you're playing on top of your chord a little bit more challenging. Or you move into, you saw me do it earlier, if I do this, you should be able to play. F major. playing through your scales, like hitting. While I'm playing this, can I think E flat? Can I work on getting to A flat? Can I get to D flat? Like, increase the challenge for yourself in your practice to maximize your output. What I knew I couldn't do for this stream was to say, here is a practice routine, a one size fits all. Everybody should work on this practice routine, because you, David, as someone who says I can do that on all string sets, that puts you into the upper intermediate to advanced level of skill. I know that there's guys in here that I can see, and I won't name them, but that study with me privately, that I know would struggle to do just that exercise just on that one string set. So if I went to that position of like making them in this practice routine, doing it on all string sets, it's useful for you, but then useless to other people. I don't want this to be useless to you. I want this to be useful to you. But yeah, we've got to get the balance. Good. What I will say, just so David says that you do that on all string sets, I'm big on doing it on the A, D, and G strings. I practice it a little bit on the highest string set. That's just something that I can hear. I find the lower string set, the A, D, and G strings, a little bit less useful. But it's something that I can do. And same idea on the bottom string set. Like, this is something that I've absolutely... C. Something that I've practiced, but it's not useful to me, if that makes sense. Because I don't play down there. Thanks, Levi, for your time and info on the website. You're welcome. Will you navigate us a few minutes through the website to show us what awaits us? I actually don't... I don't have a screen set up that has a screen share on it. Let me see if I can... I can probably come up with a way of doing that. Hang on. Keyboard's over here, mouse is over here. Probably don't need that. Oh wow, it's a lot of... Got it. Okay, that works. Oh, I need to log in. Because if you're not logged in, you can't see things. There we go. Okay, so yeah, you visit the dashboard. It's really important, if you remember, that you watch this video. This is the walkthrough of essentially everything I'm showing you now in much more detail. It'll explain what this section is, how to use all of this, about the focus of the month and the recent content and updates. But then realistically, what you're going to be doing is heading on over to courses. And when you're on courses, you might want to take a look at my ear training course. So you click start course, and then we have all of the information, all of the lessons that are currently in the course here. So I've talked about academic versus practical, so we bring up the academic versus practical, and there's a video lesson here. I've picked the worst example because, of course, for the ear training thing, we don't actually need any sound slice integration. But there's lots of stuff in here, so you might look at practice session. And these are all animated. I've gone to the effort of animating these very unsexy but long practice sessions. There we go. So I play a note and then I ask you to find that note, because we're looking at single note recognition. And then I show you where that note was. So lots of that. But if I go to something maybe a little bit more, the triad mastery course, of course, very important. We've got everything organized by level. So if I go to level 2, and then we might look at the D major lesson and routine. Let's go G major lesson and routine. So here we'll have a full video lesson. And then as you scroll through, you get the full write-up of that lesson, along with theoretical explanations, relevant images, etc. We have transcriptions of all of the exercises that we'll do in the routine, explain what they are and why we're doing them, and then we have the full routine. So the full routine is down here, sound slice integrated. So you can play and watch the whole routine if you want to, or you can work on a specific exercise by clicking and dragging and just working on that exercise. Of course, in sound slice, if you need to, you can slow these down, but we don't need to do that for something as simple as that. So there's lots of course material for you to look at, things like warming up and minor scale. And I've got a few more courses recorded in the bag, but they're not obviously uploaded yet. I'll be uploading them. You can come over to workouts of the day. So you might take a look at the bending workout. And if you look at this, we have a write-up for what this bending workout is. Now, the workout of the day section is less about lessons and more about practice. So we're not making you learn here. We're not giving you a deep lesson on the subject. We just click through to our 10-minute routine. And here is the 10-minute routine played in its entirety, all the exercises. And if you wanted to you want to be crazy and do a 20-minute routine, it's here. And same again, you can play the whole routine, or you can just skip to a certain section of it. Maybe we look at this exercise, and now when I press play on that, kind of Dave Gilmour-esque on the end there. Upper tone, upper minor third, and release. Pedal tone lick, big bend. So we put in the repetitions. You can also come on over to the live stream section, Shock Horror, where you're going to see all of the previous live streams I've done, along with information on what the new ones are. You can come to your community tab and you will get all the information on how to join our Discord and to connect your Discord account, so you get access to all of the hidden areas on Discord. And then I've also got a section where I've put up all of my transcriptions that are on YouTube. They're still just hosted on YouTube, but now they're filterable. So if you wanted to just look at Michael Romeo, you could look at all the Michael Romeo stuff. And we look at Damnation Game, and it's the embedded YouTube video, and you can then download the Guitar Pro and the PDF if you wanted to work on that thing. Whew, that's a lot. Does that help? What have we got? I'll keep reading. I also skip positions so things are not in order. Oh, I see what you mean, David. Yeah, I'm less into the skipping. I guess it depends on what you hear melodically in your mind. Like, the reason I'm not skipping is because I'm trying to hear a very consistent melody through the progression. Could you show us an example of pathways, please? I currently can't because we haven't uploaded the pathways. Gregios, yeah. Fingertips. How do you work on bending intonation? Bend to a scale tone on one string. Got other tips? Honestly, I can't on this because this has 15s on it. I can't bend these. Bending to your notes and not putting any vibrato on them, I think, is the really important thing. Pre-bending to a note and just sitting on that note without putting any vibrato on it, and doing it as much as possible. Always pre-bending to a note and just really confidently going, this is how far I need to move my hand in order to land on the pitch that I'm on. Anyway, let's do the next exercise. So, your chord encyclopedia was a game changer. Really helped me sing triads and 7th chord to all the neck based on gauge. Thank you. You're very welcome. Right, so now we move on to the final section of the stream, where we're going to look at Amazing Grace. Now, there's lots of ways that you can approach something like this. If I bring my guitar up, you could learn the melody. And you should, anytime you're working on things, you should learn the melody. So I picked Amazing Grace, very easy chords, right? If I get a very easy melody and chords, everyone knows it. So if I'm playing in C, whoops. So that's the basic, the melody. And notice how I'm not tabbing that out for you here. It's so important that you try and work that out. This is where we're trying to work on our ears, right? So even if you get the melody wrong in your mind, okay? So even if you... Even if you think that that's the melody, which is more Will the Circle Be Unbroken, that's totally fine. We're just trying to really clearly hear the melody in our mind, or what we believe the melody to be is. So, ba da ba, ba da 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 da. Whoops. Da 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 da. Whoops. I hate playing things in open positions. Now, when you can do that, we're then also trying to fill in the harmony, or at least hear what the harmony is. So when I play that melody, we ask ourselves, what's the chord that goes underneath it? Well, it's C. The chord changes to an F. Back to my C. We go to the 5 chord. Back to my C. F, going back to C. Now the way I play this, I put an A here. That's what I hear there. Here's a 6 chord there. So the point I'm going for here is we're trying to learn the chord progression. So it's the 1 chord, stay on the 1, go to 4, then 1, stay on 1, we are on 1, go to 5, back to 1, stay on the 1, 2, 4, then 1, walk down to 6, go to 5, then 1. Now sometimes here I'll play the 4 chord F, with C in the bass, 4 over 1, going to 1. When I'm thinking like that, when I'm hearing that in my mind, the chord progression becomes a little bit easier to play in different places. If I'm here, I'm on 1, stay on the 1, go to 4, then 1. And you could sing your bass notes, right? You could go bo, 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 So really trying to hear the bass notes there is important, because we're trying to really internalize the sound of the chord progression so we can rely on our ear a little bit more as we're playing through it, as we move on to playing melody. So I'm going to put on a backing track now, and over that backing track I'm literally just going to play triads that outline the chord progression. So it sounds like this. This one. Going to F, then O, 1. Hearing that we're going up to 5. Going to 1. And then 4, 1. Go to 6. 5. Let's repeat that. So 1 chord. Put some embellishment in it now. I shouldn't. I should play it as written. 6 chord, 5 chord. And we can do that in different positions. So I go C, go into 4 chord F, C. Do that one more time. C going to F. Try singing your melody. No, I didn't. The steel guitar is not done in Guitar Pro. that's a real steel guitar. It's the real deal. MIDI doesn't sound that good. What am I missing? Chord Encyclopedia is a game changer. Really helped me seeing triads 7 chords all over the neck. Cool. The first book was a guided practice routines level 1. It revealed unexpected weaknesses and gave me work for months. Awesome. Yeah. 3 books in this one. But highly recommend the guided arpeggios, chords, and scales trio. Charles, I highly recommend guidedpracticeroutines.com. Right, so yeah, so that's me just playing like the really, really boring way through it. But then once you can do that, you can start. When we know our melody, you train yourself and you go, okay, this is the root on the top, and then we have the third on top, coming down to the note C, but the chord has changed to F, so it's really the 5th, coming down, and we have the 5, going up to the root note on top of C, 3rd on top, going to G, with the root on top, and then I always hear da, here in the flat 7, da, 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 F even, da, 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 da. So it's like A minor with the 3rd on top. Same melody. But so for the G, it's actually the 6 on top. So you have G, which resolves. It's like a suspension type thing. So when you know that, you can play your triads with the melody. F did it again. Now, if I practice that, this one. Oh no, totally wrong backing track. Oh, this is a different exercise. I forgot that I put that exercise in there. This is also cool too. Same basic idea as before, putting a melody note on top of each. So we go. Just trying to force myself to think chord progression a little bit there. Let me sort that out. So is the melody. I'm just trying to think of my chords as I'm doing this. I'm going. And we could do this for any song. Now that's fun, but we are being led by the melody that's in the piece. So for my ear training approach to this, I would prefer that once you're comfortable playing the melody on top of the thing, you improvise your own. So I could play something like, we might go, let's go. I'm just playing, anything through there. There's a really, really great question there, Chris. Do we have a suggested order for the routines or lessons or courses? So we're kind of trying to work on that at the moment, the best way to do that. But of course, everyone's personal needs are different. I highly recommend that everybody who has some knowledge of the guitar starts on the Triad Mastery course. Triad Mastery will open up the guitar for you. You can, but I don't learn scales until my students can play triads. Because triads fit around scales, as we're going to see when I improvise over this a little bit. It's all triad-based knowledge first. So Triad Mastery, and there is months of work in Triad Mastery. Months of work. I've only uploaded 3 levels of it. There's a lot of work in there. If you are a little bit more academic and you want to develop a more kind of professional, maybe you're looking at going to music school or something like that, the Learning the Notes course is very detailed, very unsexy, but I'm incredibly proud of how that came out. As soon as we get the store up, we're going to be marketing that one heavily as a standalone product, because by the end of it, you'll start out being a guy who, maybe plays in a cover band and can name bar chords, and by the end of it, you'll be literally looking at music notation and going, okay, I understand what that note is, and I know where that note is on my guitar. Very proud of how that course has come out. David, my favourite guitarist is Brad Paisley. Stuff is a challenge, big challenge to transcribe. And you've got G-benders on your telly. Good amount of taste. Did the transcription for Artist Works Guthrie Trap course. Oh, fantastic. Transcribing is the best ear training, yes. As we know, I'm a full-time transcriber. Nothing beats that. I love Brad's playing, and I have. I don't anymore have a guitar with a G-bender on, but I had guitar. Only one with a G. I've had 2 Bs, 1 G. I don't get to professionally play all that much country music, so other than the books that I've written, I'm playing soul music. So the G bender and the B bender, they just didn't have as much a place, and I'm moving more into the jazz world with things now, so I kind of moved them for that reason. I did put in a request with Peach Guitars. I said I was interested in buying his blue Lost Paisley, if they got one of those in stock, which I was interested in. And then, did I buy something? Oh, I bought this 446. So I love Brad, huge. Well, I loved Brad. I think American Saturday Night onwards is a sharp decline. This Is Country Music comes after American Saturday Night, and that has some stuff on that I do still teach to students. Like Old Alabama is one that I do teach to students. But it got super pop after that. Like, I know it was pop before. You could look at Fifth Gear and go, oh, this is pop country, but not compared to where it ended up. Like, Wheelhouse is like pop. Like, when people ask me about Brad Paisley, I'm always going to recommend them. Like, I like Part 2, and Who Needs Pictures? To me, Part 2 is like he's worked out what his sound is. Fifth Gear is when things start getting really, really pop, right? Actually, I think Time Well Wasted is probably his best album. Anyway, clearly a big fan. Right, let me keep going. So, yeah, I've got a little arrangement now where I'm going to play through Amazing Grace again, but I'll play something a little bit more interesting and melodic, and I haven't played this since I wrote it, so I'm going to have to read it and hope that it comes together. This one? Yeah. So we got... few moments of panic in there trying to read that, but you get the idea. Yeah, what I'm looking for there is that's kind of how I would approach playing solo guitar. Like, it's very gospel, isn't it? And David, raises some interesting by talking about G benders and the like, using a B bender for things like this. Just immediately being able to see all of your voicings and go, oh, okay, I'm on. When I play F. C is probably the better example because you can play a C7 voicing like this, but bend and bend that note up, so you can play. Maybe you pre-bend. You go ba ba, and then on that you can da, or I guess da. And you'll start to hear the sort of inner voices of these chords. I miss having a B bender and G bender for that reason, because I do like doing stuff like that. But unfortunately, when you do it, it just immediately sounds very country. And when I'm playing in a soul band, it's not the vibe. It's just, it doesn't feel right. But it's kind of internalized. Like, I love pedal steel for that reason. Being able to bend notes in the middle of chords, beautiful. Okay, cool. So yeah, that's so there's some cool stuff in there where I'm like to see. And then I did do the C, D minor, C, D minor, C, D minor, C, D minor to F. And then we're going C, C, C. We go to A minor. And that is A minor, melody, to an A minor triad. Then to G. And then I played. So at its core, like, I'm trying to do these melodic triad things. But the real challenge for yourself is if I put on a backing track for just Amazing Grace, like this, can I play chord tones? Can I play C? Going to F, C. Open up a little bit more. That wasn't the one. Not the throwing in the Paganini. Now, if I play a little bit more on that, I think, can I just press play on that backing track? Will it play again? It's gone. So I have to do this and then this. So I'm really just trying to listen to my chord, right? And I could just play. Jason said, just want to thank you for the knowledge and motivation, and most importantly, the guidance, that's, so that energy gets put toward the right things. Time is used best. Thanks very much, Jason. Really appreciate it. No need for the super chat, though. You can just comment on Discord. Right, so that was all of the material that I have prepared for you in terms of like the secrets of meaningful guitar practice. So to summarize, making your practice meaningful is about making sure that you're working towards your goals. So here, I've tried to run the gamut a little bit. We tried to work on some technical stuff, some technique, right hand picking stuff, but also trying to engage the mind with the technical stuff that we were doing. I wasn't just playing the caprice. I was focusing on, that's a G minor, going to a D7, there's a diminished arpeggio, then we go up G7, let's try that again, up G7, down C minor, up F7, down B flat, and then we have that melody with a diminished, resolving to, whoops, I don't finger it like that, I finger like that, to a D major. I know my face isn't on screen actually, is it? There we go. So trying to engage my mind with the thing that I'm playing, not just a technical thing. And don't get me wrong, like there's always value in the technical thing. I spent untold time in my youth going, which now isn't there anymore, because how much do I have to use on a gig? Never. But my mind wasn't hugely engaged with the thing that I was doing there. My ear wasn't engaged with the thing I was doing there. That is an organisation of pentatonics, 4-note per string with tapping, so you can play a pentatonic scale as fast as possible, which isn't the same as playing an A minor chord and knowing that over my A minor chord I want to hear that I might actually play on an A minor chord. All these things that are more jazz inspired, where the melody, you bet your ass I'd sing all of that in my head. I'm playing the thing I'm singing. So trying to engage the mind in our technique practice is beneficial. Then trying to challenge ourselves with the learning of new things. So we played the circle of fifths, but how confidently can you say to me when I'm playing B flat that there's two flats in B flat and E flat? How confidently could we say that because of that, we know that the 4 chord in B flat is E flat? How confident are we on the 5 chord? Do we know that when we're in the key of B flat, a 1, 6, 4, 5 is B flat, G minor, E flat, F? If I go... Actually, let's loop that. It's quite a fun one to play over. Fast for It's too fast for me to be playing 16th notes at that speed. What we got here? Ben Ella keeps telling me I suck. Levi only tells me that I kind of suck. I don't actually think that you suck, Jason. I think that you suck at practice. And the toughest part of any sort of practice is managing your own time. You know, working one-on-one with a teacher is great because they can tell you the things that you need. But even then, unless they're making you practice it, you have to manage your own time when you go away. And I think you're easily distracted, if that makes sense. So, yeah, I doubt Ben would. Ben's such a lovely guy. Ben's never going to say that, of course. As you say, it's a joke. But, yeah, I'm always going to tell you the thing you suck at. You don't suck. But you suck at being focused. Still going to sign up today either way. Just curious, do you have an estimate on when the pathways may be uploaded? Sadly, I need my hand held and told exactly what to practice in what order. John Johns, you've given me a get out of jail free here, haven't you, by saying you're going to sign up either way. So really, I can say never. No, we're aiming to have them uploaded in the first month. The problem is more a case of we talked about creating pathways and using legacy routines as part of the pathways. I'm happy that the legacy routines are there, but I'm very much of the opinion that I have pathways in my mind, but I would much rather film all new content for it. Because that's who I am. I want everything to be as new and as good quality as possible. Yeah, so it's just a case of filming a lot of stuff. The important thing to remember, John, is the community aspect. You know, there's a lot of guys in the chat here currently that are all members of the Discord server. You have access to me 24 hours a day, man. You know, you don't need to be alone through any of this. You can talk to me all the time on Discord. Anytime you need to ask questions, anytime you need direction. When you finished a lesson, when you finished working on a course, on guided practice routine, or just done a routine, head on over to Discord. Every single course has its own section on Discord, and you can leave a comment. Let us know what you practiced, how you got on, areas that you had struggles with. If you want to post videos of you doing aspects of the routine or aspects that you're struggling with, right? My material, my teaching, my educational resources, if you want to put them that way, are different than a lot of the other stuff you're ever going to find. Not just because of the content, because of the person that's delivering them. I am here for you whenever you need me. I will, put all hours in to make sure that you are not struggling. I'm here to help, okay? So, yes, pathways are coming. I am happy to drill you on Discord until that is the case. And you can always email me as well. You don't even need to be a member of the site. Like, if you watch my YouTube channel and you have a question, you want to leave a comment or you want to send me an email, I read every single one of them and I get back to people when they have questions. So, I love this idea. I'll be signing up. Awesome. You're a great teacher and I need a space where I can focus on a routine. Too much choice was the problem. I think that's the case. And to be honest, I still have this internal battle with the website. Let me bring myself up. This internal battle with the website where it's still that. There's still too much content. There's so much content on there. There's over 100 hours of lessons on there, which is a lot of material. So immediately you put yourself in this, I'm overwhelmed. Where do I start? What should I work on? And I hate that. I want you to be very focused, which is why we decided to have dedicated courses. So you should be working on a course. You should be working on triad mastery, level 1 of triad mastery. Put everything else out of your mind. Nothing else has to exist. You won't make progress unless you focus on an area. And I guess, it's not really a secret of meaningful practice, but unless you focus on a thing, you won't learn it. It's so easy to work on triad mastery and then go, but yeah, I'm also going to work on, like, I've got a student I'm thinking of, really, really great dude, and I've been teaching him for a long time, and I really, really enjoy teaching him because I've seen his playing come on so much in our private lessons. He's really into guys like John Mayer, and we're learning a lot about, like, we've done some gypsy jazz stuff, and we've been playing like Fly Me to the Moon is a fun one because all the chords you got we're on anyway, we're playing through like some Fly Me to the Moon stuff, and it's really great because it forces you to play things like over on our C, we're going to A, of course, yeah. It's been a while since we were working on that stuff in those lessons. But I love playing a song like that. But I still vividly remember we turned up for a private lesson once, and the Zoom started, and he was in the waiting room, and I added him into the lesson before he realised it. And I caught him in the act with his guitar up like this, going... doing some 8-finger tapping stuff. And it's like, on the one hand, I laughed. I'm like, on the one hand, like, I'm really happy you've got things that you're excited by and you're passionate about, but they are distracting you from the thing that you're trying to develop, and they're distracting you from the thing that you need to be getting better, which is how confidently can you put Fly Me to the Moon on and go A minor, D minor, G7, C major, F major, and we're going B. I'm adding too many embellishments. That's actually harder than what I require of a student. You should be able to, without hesitation, go. In fact, let me lay down the loop to that. F. Minor there, so. Just playing the arpeggios. How comfortable are you to play those arpeggios? How comfortable are you to listen to them go, that's 5, going to 1, going to 4. And then thirds. And then like really, when I'm doing that, I'm like really hearing chord change and really outlining chord change. It takes a long time to get there, but the distractions that you give yourself by not just focusing on that one thing, like with that particular student, I have seen where they are versus where I think they could be if they devoted their time to it. Having said that, we mentioned it earlier in the stream, it's that magpie shiny syndrome. You know, it is good to pursue different things, but never at the cost of the thing that you're trying to, get good at. Let's have a look. Aaron says, I've been concentrating on the following: basic scales, chords, chord progressions, and scales in contexts. So to me, when you say basic scales, chord progressions, and scales in context, so everything. You've been focusing on everything that there can be to do. There's too much. It's too much. Why scales in context if you can't play chords in context? If you can't play, like, Fly Me to the Moon there, triad with colour tone. So whoops. So I'm playing A minor, then adding the 7, and then went to D minor, and I played the 9, I went to G major, played the 7, played C major, then I went to F major, da da da. That's B minor 7 flat 5, but I'm playing D minor triad. Ba da da. My ear is so I played the wrong note, but I'm hearing da da. Or let's play. I'm trying not to play the full melody. So I'm just playing, triads. If I can't do that, then playing full scales is too much. It's just, because when I actually improvise over something like that, I'm seeing this, but playing. And I see this. It's really arpeggio, but I can flesh it out. With all of the lines if I choose to. Charles says, the website as it is today is already way more organised than most other options. Yeah, there's also a workout of the day tab. Is great idea. Yeah, awesome, thank you. First thing that you went for, totally avoided option paralysis. Yeah, the only, and it's not a downside of workout of the day, is the concept with guided practice routines is teaching, practice, not just practice. So I teach and practice, but the workouts of the day are supposed to be time efficient, so you can just jump into the practice. But we've got more stuff that we're working on. You don't want to miss the teaching, and moving forward with workouts of the day, I'm trying to integrate them in courses, teaching and routine in courses, and then we'll just extract the workout and put them in workout of the day for you, so you can just jump into a workout if you want to. But doing a workout and not fully understanding why you're doing the thing bugs me. Anyway, right, we have reached the end of the stream. So, does anybody have any questions? In fact, I'll tell you what, I need a glass of water. So I'm going to run the ad, and then I'm going to take your questions. So get your questions in. Here we go. Hi guys, Levi here. I just wanted to take a minute to share something really special with you. Today marks an exciting new chapter in the guided practice routines journey. For those of you that are new to the channel or only know me through my transcriptions, about 10 years ago I started a concept called guided practice routines, or GPR, and it was really born out of wanting to create a better way of getting results for my students. It started with a pretty simple idea, to go beyond the lesson by providing actual practice routines students could follow along with. A traditional guitar lesson usually means seeing a teacher for an hour a week, and they cram that hour full of information, quickly brush over some exercises, and then you're expected to remember it all and motivate yourself to actually do it. Well, the guided practice routine method is like having a teacher and a personal trainer at the same time. You learn something, and then you're meticulously guided through a practice routine where we can play all of the exercises together. It's education and accountability all in one. Now, over time, it grew way beyond what I ever imagined. Between the books, the Patreon, and hundreds of practice routines, it's reached over 100,000 guitarists around the world. And honestly, it's been one of the most rewarding things that I've ever done. But I always knew that there was a way that I could take it to another level. Something easier to use, better organized, more interactive, and just an overall richer experience for anyone who really wants to commit to getting better at the guitar. So today I'm thrilled, like genuinely so excited, to officially announce the launch of guidedpracticeroutines.com, a brand new platform dedicated to delivering the best guitar lessons imaginable through what I truly believe is the best format, the guided practice routine system. This has been a huge undertaking. It's taken years of planning, filming, writing, and organising hundreds of hours of work to make sure it's the absolute best that it can be. Inside, you'll find a full library of courses, lessons, workouts, and live streams with new content added every week. Every single thing is designed to take the guesswork out of your practice and help you make real noticeable progress that you can actually hear in your playing. All of the new courses are fully integrated with Sound Slice, so you can slow things down, loop sections, and see the notation and tab in real time. It really takes the practice experience to another level. There's also an exclusive community where we can all share progress, ask questions, and support each other. It's truly the most complete realization of the guided practice routine vision that I've been able to offer. Honestly, this feels like a brand new chapter for guided practice routines. It's something I've dreamed about for years, and I'm incredibly proud of what it's become. So if you've ever used one of my books or done a Patreon routine, or just want to take your playing more seriously, this is the next step. I'd love for you to come and check it out. There's even an exclusive launch discount just this week, so signing up now is actually cheaper than my Patreon was. And that ends at the end of the week. I'll drop the link in the description so you can see what it's all about. Thank you so much for watching, and thanks for all of the support over the years. It truly means the world to me and my family. I hope to see some of you guys inside. Any questions? Sound off below. I'm always reading and happy to get back to you. Much love. Oh, we're back. Okay. No questions right now. Just wishing you the best of luck with launch. Excited to try it for myself. Yeah, I'm obviously very apprehensive. This is kind of make or break thing for me, because I sort of threw my Patreon away in order to do it, and I make less money, significantly less money per member. So I need a lot of members for it to be paid for. It's been a very time-consuming, very expensive endeavor, but I stand behind the content. I'm just really proud of the content, and I'll take the Pepsi challenge against any educational material. It's there, not shred stuff, but like, I'm not a guitar teacher, I'm a music teacher, and I'm here to make you a better musician. I've changed guitar again for the final section. We now have the Gibson. This is a Gibson ES446, which you're looking at, you're like, isn't that just like a Les Paul? It's not. It's a different shape, and but it is thin. But it's a true, like, it's an actual hollow body. It's not like got a solid block down the middle. I actually don't tend to play this on streams because it's an actual arch top with acoustic bracing in it, built like a proper acoustic guitar. It's really loud, like. If I did the same on my Pat Martino. That's like an electric guitar, you know, but this. Very cool. But unfortunately, that means that when I'm playing it, I really like it, but you can hear the acoustic sound of the guitar in the microphone, which makes the sound a little janky to my ears. Anyway, so let's deal with these questions. So, Trenton Havener, is that Havener? Havener says, do you find yourself practicing less or more than you have when you were younger? I thought about that when I was reading it, and I wanted to say that I don't practice less, I practice differently. That is true, I do practice differently, but in all honesty, I probably, almost certainly practice less than I did when I was younger, because even for someone like myself who is a full-time professional working musician, that doesn't mean I have all day to practice. I've got work to do. I've got a lot of stuff that has to get done, you know? So my actual personal practice and development time is not the same as when I was 16 years old. Or, you know, when I went to music school, I essentially had all day to practice. I stay up all day and stay up all day? No, sometimes stay up all day. Stay up all night transcribing, you know, and then practice and go to a jam and all of that stuff. Like, I definitely practice less, but like I say, I practice differently. I think that my practice time is more efficiently used now. I milk more out of the practice time because I've learned what to avoid in my practice. You know, I've learned the things that you can do to maximize your improvement from your practice. Whereas before, I might, spend 30 minutes on an exercise trying to eke out an extra 5 BPM, my shred tempos, and it's like, that is work, and some people enjoy playing like that, and I'm just not that guy. If you want to learn to play like that, I don't think any less of you, but I'm also not going to steal money from you. I'll send you to teachers that are going to teach you that stuff incredibly well. I'll send you to someone like Ben Eller. I'll send you to Martin Miller. There are I've got so many friends in the industry that teach that stuff, and they all do it so well. Go to Andy James. That's not what I want to teach. Like, I want to teach you to be a musician, not a guitar player. So the way I've practiced has changed. Rasta says no questions right now. Yeah, best of luck. I think I answered that. For the record, I did understand the workout. Let's try that again. For the record, I did understand the workout. Also gave me a good warm up and confidence right after that. Not sure what that's in reference to, Charles. What's the first thing that a beginner should concentrate on? That's a really, really interesting question. Again, unfortunately, there's not a straight answer to it. It depends what that beginner wants to do. Where do you want to be 5 years from now? What are your goals? I have some people that come to me, young guys like 18, and they're like, oh, I'm thinking of making music my career. I'm going to music school, or I'm hoping to go to music school. Well, in that instance, I'm going to say to them, cool. So in the long run, we probably need to learn how to read rhythm, understand pitch, understand notes that are in keys, have our theory rock solid. So for guys like that, I'm going to say, well, you maybe want to check out the Learning the Notes course. Learning the Notes is the course. Learning the Notes course is very, very useful to you. Everybody should do level 1 of that. Level 1 is essential. You need level 1 skills in order to do anything that you'd want to do. But moving beyond that into levels 2 and 3, that's more for the more academically minded student. I would say, as a consistent rule, and what we're going to be focusing on with our featured course this month, is going to be the triad mastery. Because for me, it's just, that's it. Triad mastery is just where it's at. Like, if I load up my guitar, everything I play is triads. If I do like Stevie Signed, Sealed, Delivered, like a fool I went and stayed too long. Now I wonder if my love's too strong. Ooh, baby, here I am, signed, sealed, delivered, I'm yours. This is why people don't pay me to sing. Right, triads, right? F, D minor, F, D minor, and then we've got, this is an F7 triad voicing. It's like from my triad mutation exercises. F7, and then we go to our, this is a B flat 7. Again, triad mutation. I'm taking my B flat and lowering the root to the 7. Yeah, so for me to be able to play over that, I have to be able to think of my triads, and I have to be able to hear my triads. I can't stress this enough. When I play that, I'm hearing, like, if I play through that, I hear, or if I was to play here, we'd hear, And when I move around like that, like I'm outlining chord, I'm hearing triad, and I'm just sort of spelling triad out. So to answer the question, triads, triads, triads. It's been so useful for me. If you play the guitar right-handed, your left hand is the magic, no left-handed pianos. If you play guitar right-handed, your left-handed is the magic, no left. I would actually argue that the hardest part of playing the guitar is the right hand. The picking hand is the hardest part of playing the guitar. Yeah, there are no left-handed pianos. But because of my years playing the guitar and doing this, I have found that when I move over, now I'm a pianist, I find the left hand actually much easier than the right hand. But I am absolutely right-handed. Yeah, funny. King of the jazz guitars. Are we talking about this particular guitar or just the guitars I have in general? I could reach over and just grab more of them. Look. My 7-string. I love a hollow body. I love a set of 15s. As promised, your get out of jail free card has been delivered, even if you never upload the pathways. Not sure. I didn't realise I was signed on. Martin Man. Oh, awesome. Okay, I see what you're saying. Okay, well, I'm looking forward to getting to know you a lot better on the Discord server. I'm always there, and it's not just guitar stuff that we're talking about on there. I've got a section for talking about movies and life, places we can rage about stuff. I remember David today raging about the fact that he's just had to increase the font size on his work PC. It's a sign of getting older. I feel that rage. Do you think that there's something to be said about starting music young? Oh, absolutely. Yeah. You've got some great names there. Chris Potter, I'm not a Sean Lane fan, but Joshua Redman I think is fantastic. Not a massive Wes Montgomery fan, but yeah, of course, there's absolutely something to be said for starting music younger. But the reality, I think, about worrying about stuff like that is you can't change the past. You can't change where you came from, but you can change your future. You can change where you're going. And allowing where you've come from to influence your potential of where you could go is never a good idea. It's simply never a good idea. I didn't start playing music until I was 14. I didn't start really realistically... Oh, my face. I didn't really start realistically listening to music, like really passionately, until I was 14. I didn't really care I was really into video games and film when I was younger than that. I never would just sit and listen to music because it's like, well, why sit and listen to a thing when I can listen to a thing with a visual in front of me? So music came later, but I don't think it's hampered me. There are a lot of people that end up getting put off by music because they're like, oh, I didn't start young enough. Yeah, sure. Would it be great if I'd started playing music when I was 8 years old? Absolutely. Those are your formative years like that. Those are the ones where you make the most progress in your playing. But yeah, there are too many great musicians who started later in life. I think music is much stranger. Learning music is a much stranger thing than we give credit for, because whether we realize it or not, when you had your first ever experience playing a guitar, you were in a different place to where I was when I had my first experience playing a guitar, just because of the way, the amount of music that you'd been exposed to prior to that. Whether I realized it or not, I was studying music from a very young age. Didn't realise it at all. But I was, because my mum, one of the very few things that she did that would be seen as quite a good motherly thing to have done. Actually, it was more my dad, to be fair. They I don't know if I'm too young to really remember the time frame over them, but there was a VHS series that was released over here in the UK called You Can Read. And I've not watched those in, 34 years. But I can hear the theme tune to it, And I always found that my audiation skills are good, and whether I realised it or not, that's because of how I was processing sound when I was listening to it. So I don't want to say lucky, but my brain lent itself to capturing the details of things even when I wasn't really studying music. So if I think of You Can Read, and I can hear the bass notes with that. That's not a thing that was taught to me. It's just how I was lucky in that my brain was processing stuff like that. Meanwhile, you have some people that start playing music at a young age and they have almost no connection with the music whatsoever internally. Like their ears aren't latched onto the music. They're doing it because their parents have made them do it, So focus on your future, not where you come from. Anyone that knows my past will know I'm a poster child for that. I like to throw out, trauma stories of what it was like growing up in my family every now and again just to shock people, but I don't live in that trauma. I focus on my future, where I'm going in my life, not where I came from. That makes sense? There's no substitutes for learning something at a young age. Yeah, sure there is, Mike. Learning it well. Learning something well is better than learning something poorly at a young age. Learning something well in old age is better than learning something poorly at a young age. Right. I will sit here for a couple more minutes because no questions are coming in. So seriously, though, guys, thank you so much for tuning into this stream. We've really gone big on this. I know a lot of you guys are here because you saw an advert telling you about this stream. That's because we spent far too much money advertising it so we could try and tell you about the website. So if you've enjoyed it, go and check out the website, guidedpracticeroutines.com. Limited 20% off. We're calling it the Founders Offer. So you can be a founding member of guidedpracticeroutines.com and get the discounted price. Only available for the next week. So if you're on the fence about it and you don't manage to grab it in the next week, then it will go back up to the standard price. So you can become a member currently for as low as $16.90, about $17 if you're on the annual plan. And it will stay that way for the entire time that you're with us. So if you're still here in 10 years' time, because this website isn't going anywhere, let me really stress that, okay? My YouTube channel is 11 years old. I still upload to it. Yeah. My Patreon page, I've been on Patreon for 9 years. And the amount of content that I uploaded there is ridiculous. I did the guided practice routines thing on Patreon for 3.5 years. And what I mean by that is every single Monday for 3.5 years, without fail, I never ever missed my guided practice routine that got uploaded for you guys. I live for music, for education, for study, for development, but more importantly, helping people. Because I also think that helping people, it's selfish as well as selfless, because helping people helps me. Learning benefits me. I get so much enjoyment from learning things, and teaching people things helps me to learn things. So there's a selfish aspect to it, but knowing that people enjoy content that you make and uploading it for them regularly, it's a great feeling. So this website is going to be here for a very long time. And I'm going to keep, as I become a better player, and I'm always trying, I like to think I'm a better guitar player than I was a year ago, but nowhere near as good as I'll be a year from now. And that keeps you humble, right? I'm not the world's best, but I might be the world's most organised. Let me go. I missed that content from Mike Ellis. Are the lessons and routines at intermediate advanced levels? So, Mike, that's a really good question. When I release my books, guided practice routine books, foundation level, intermediate, and advanced, I called that first one foundations because I didn't want to call it beginner, because I knew some of the concepts in that were going to be hard. I obviously can't, without saying to you, let's have a lesson together one-on-one, I guarantee, let's put it this way. I guarantee that I can give you things that you're going to go, wow, I can't do that. Whether you're a beginner, an intermediate, or an advanced player. And if you can, then I will give you all of your money back, and maybe I'll throw some extra money on top of it. The whole point is, I think being a good teacher and a good student is about finding things that you can't do and working on them. And I don't know that necessarily makes you an advanced guitar player. And I'll be humble about this. I bet there's plenty of things that you can do that I can't do. I used to be Captain Shred, and I've got students now who they do some of the shred stuff, and I'm like, man, that's really impressive. I can't do that anymore. It's because music isn't a competition. But yeah, there's intermediate and advanced stuff. Definitely. We're looking at some jazz vocabulary, like songs. I've uploaded. Oh, sorry, it's not actually uploaded, but I've done a course on seventh chords, and we've been looking at Duke Ellington tunes. There's some harmony through Stevie Wonder tunes. There's a lot of stuff there. I see comments are coming in, so good. Just signed up to the new site. Awesome. I can't wait to get to know you a bit better, Kevin. Mostly self-taught, I believe. I'll visit the site to really build a foundation I didn't have previously. Yeah, Heron, so for the longest time, I've always taken issue with people saying they're self-taught because I didn't have a teacher growing up. But I did, because I had guitar magazines and I had the internet. I might have been self-guided, but yeah, I wasn't necessarily taught. You're always self-taught unless I'm there with you in a room every step of the way. When I'm teaching you like this and we talk about some concepts and things that you should work on, when you go away and work on that and you develop that, this you teaching yourself as well as, but inevitably what happens is people miss stuff. There's so much stuff that just gets missed in playing, and just a simple one actually. Like, Richard didn't say goodbye, but I assume he's not still there. These arpeggio type, these cross picking ideas, where I'm alternate picking, one note per string like that. Let's go. All those sorts of things, right? Guitar players avoid that. They avoid it. They sweep it, right? Understandably, because it's easier. But in doing that, they avoid developing the skill of being able to do that. It's a foundational skill. It's a beginner level skill. I remember, in my early years going, or we were doing things like, what am I doing? That's it. And you see people trying to do things like that, and they're just like, their picking hand doesn't know what it's doing because they missed the foundational skills. Thank you, Daniel. Thank you so much for tuning in. IXOXIXOIOX. Yoxiox. I had no idea how to pronounce what you're going for there, sir. But I'm glad you've enjoyed yourself. Thanks for the great lesson. You are very welcome. All the best, Charles. Thank you so much. Does the subscription include personal lessons? So, no, you can't have one-on-one lessons with me as part of the subscription. I do offer private one-on-one lessons. I charge $50 for a private lesson. So, I'm actually very cheap compared to all of my peers. And I only take lesson bookings via my Patreon page. So I moved Guided Practice Routines over to the website. Guided Practice Routines is a business that's run with not just me. So there's other people involved. So there's money that comes in that doesn't just go to me. And so I couldn't really offer my private lessons via that anymore, because then I'd be giving away a share of my income for teaching privately. But if anybody ever wants private lessons, all you need to do is reach out to me via that Patreon page. Happy to. Signed up before the stream started. Thanks, Chris. I appreciate it. I appreciate you, buddy. Anybody that has signed up, please do make sure that you head on over to the community page and join up to Discord. Say hello. There's such a great... I'm going to say, I assume he's not watching. There's such a great group of people in there. And Joe. I love Joe. Joe, I'm making fun. I love you very much. My biggest regret, self-taught as a teen, refused to take a lesson. Now I'm trying to undo bad habits. Kevin, I do know what you mean. I wasn't able to take lessons because there was no money. All the money on our house went on drugs. So I can't drop the trauma every now and again. Oh, you're laughing at the Joe Lang thing. Yeah, so refuse to take a lesson. Now you're trying to undo bad habits. The thing, when we generally speak about bad habits on the guitar, I see Steel is Real is there, so he knows that this isn't strictly true. But generally speaking, when somebody comes to me for a lesson and they do something weird in their technique, like George Benson picks like that, right? If George Benson came in for a lesson, I'm not going to say, hey, George, you're picking hands all wrong. Or Eddie Van Halen that like to pick like that, right? I'm not going to say, Eddie, you're holding the pick wrong. What you've done is you've crafted your own style. You've crafted your own way of doing things. I don't believe in changing that. I think who you are is cool. I don't know you. You might be an asshole, actually, but you know what I'm getting at. I think who you are as an individual is really cool. But what we can do is we can build upon the things you have to improve the mind, to improve the ears, so you can start to bring out who you are on the instrument rather than what you probably started to be, which is what you probably thought you were going to do when you started playing, which was to mimic somebody else, to be a clone of somebody else. I'm more interested in helping you find who you are as a player. I think that when I play, that I've got a sound, you know? Or at least everyone I know that I play with, they all know my playing. They know the way I phrase, they know my licks. And it's not going to set the world on fire, but that's not what it's for. When I play, it's like an expression of me as a player. And I'm a product of all of my influences, sure. Try and bring those things together in a big melting pot. And what comes out of the melting pot is what we call Levi, unique. Like I say, not earth-shatteringly different, but enough that I'm just very happy with my playing. And I spent the longest time very unhappy with my playing, especially when I was trying to be Paul Gilbert. Because it was like you were trying to match up to this person that you could never be, but then when you felt that you were getting there, it's like, oh, there's nothing... My playing is predictable, and I hated it. But now, like, I enjoy it. So I'm going to close out by playing a little blues for you. Let me lay down a blues in B flat, of course. That'll do. Just joined server a bit ago and did the hello. Awesome. Petrucci video I just uploaded is phenomenal. I'll give you a fun little fact on that Petrucci video, and you'll see it if you're on the Discord. I had actually done Randy Rhoads solos on Mr. Crowley from that old live video that Ozzy put out, you know, back in the 80s. Obviously, Randy died in like 83. That's what I had done. And I uploaded it yesterday, and it immediately got blocked worldwide. And I was like, shit. And believe it or not, I've been really, really busy trying to get this stream prepared and all the stuff that I want to do for this. So in panic mode, I had to find something to transcribe. And so I threw that Petrucci one together yesterday for you. So it was a bit of an afterthought. I would really have liked to get other things for you, but more stuff is coming. But I did enjoy that Petrucci solo. It's been many, many years since I've heard that, and I am a big John Petrucci fan. At least I certainly was. There's a Dream Theater tattoo up there somewhere. So yeah, big Petrucci fan. Anyway, guys, one more time. In fact, I'll do this. Let's do that with the music.